Hello, slimy furtlers, and it's been a lovely Easter bank holiday Monday, as you can see outside there, sun and everything. But I've spent most of the day inside as per usual because I'm weird. Um, but at least the sun glare's gone down, and this is now the second attempt at doing this video. I don't know why, but yeah. So right, where were we? Right, I have a new train to show you. I also have some new little bits down here that I want to show you. Whether you want to see them or not is entirely up to you. Nobody forces you to watch these videos. So yeah, anyways, as of last time, I got some Oxford diecast 00 scale cars and things. I've also got some little people as well. So the population of Skid Row is now getting bigger. So joining the Top Gear boys and Eddie and Richie and Bob Syme down there, we now have a assortment of police people. These are Bachmann Scenecraft figures. You get 6 in a pack and they cost £15. I am not impressed with paying £15 for them. They're just little plastic figures. The paint jobs that are on them, because they come, you don't get a choice whether you get to paint them or not. They just come painted. Figure wise, little, the moulding, the detail on them is very nice, but the paint jobs are awful. And for £15, I would prefer to pay that for, say, I don't know, a dozen or 20 or so unpainted figures. I'm going to have to do some touching up on the paint jobs there. Shouldn't really be able to do that, but I do know some people don't mind the crap paint jobs because of how small they are and because they have no talent with a paintbrush. But never mind. Anyway, so yeah, we've got some coppers, we've got some policemen, we've got some police women. They all go very nicely with the 2 cop cars. I mean, we've got the inspector down here looking not terribly impressed, and then we've got a couple of coppers here that are kind of highway patrol type of coppers, and then a couple of police women stood there, and we've got a good old Bobby on the beat there directing traffic. Keep the fuck away, you stupid dickhead, stop rubbernecking. So yeah, that's them. We also have, which I bought this a few weeks ago, but I've only just got them out, is this pack here, which is a Pricer Rettungsdienst, or in English, Assorted Emergency Response Services. 52 unpainted miniature figures and accessories. Now, this cost me about a tenner, and it's quite nice. They are unpainted, and they are multi-part figures. However, when it says 52, you can only assemble some of them in certain ways. They don't give you enough parts. For example, as we can see here, we've got the guy on a stretcher with some guys there. That to assemble that little scene is 14 different parts. However, if you want it like that, you have to forego having another scene, which is on here, where you have a guy being carried on a stretcher like that. So your choices are guy on the wheeled stretcher or guy on carried stretcher. So it doesn't really make 52, but yeah, never mind. But I've assembled that. I've got the guy, guy there on the stretcher, and then a guy there being carried on a flexible stretcher. I've also got this guy down here on the floor who's been tended to by a paramedic with a medic's kit. That's all I've assembled so far out of this. There are more in here because it's although it says Assorted Emergency Response Services, there are actually just some normal street people in there. Like you can see there's a mother with a baby and a child and things like that. And there's also firemen and for some reason lifeguards. Yeah, that's cool. The problem with this is though the emergency responders are actually German. Because obviously Pricer ist ein deutscher Company, and they kind of like to make things, German, not generic, and definitely not British. The thing is, the paramedics and stuff like that, they can easily be painted in sort of British ambulance paramedic colours, not a problem. The firemen, though, we've got some firemen down here. They look nothing like British firemen. I could probably have a go at painting them to look like British firemen. We'll see. Lifeguards, I don't have a beach, so they're not going to be much use for anything. And then we also have quite a few things here, like people in wheelchairs, sort of like what you'd see, old people being pushed around on the streets or at hospital. We've got a couple of doctors as well. Yeah, it's nice for a tenner, yeah, cheap and cheerful, and can't complain too much even, yeah, but never mind. So yeah, that's the thing there. I've also started work on the pub. Um, yeah, started work on it. Not much to show for the time being. Basically finished the paint shop because all I need to do now is put the window glazing in, and I want to try and make an inside of the shop, like an actual inside shop thing, because long term I would like to put lights inside so that I can flick a switch and the shops and the buildings will light up, sort of thing. That's it. I haven't started work on the shops and flat units with Eddie and Richie yet. That one's going to be the hardest, I think, even though it doesn't look it. And it's. I wish that cat had shut the fuck up. I don't know what it is. She's just doing nothing but meow all day. I don't know what's wrong with her. But yeah, that one is going to be the hardest, even though it doesn't look it. It really is going to be the hardest. So yeah, that's the kind of update to the street scene, as we've got a bit of a scene here. There's been an accident and it didn't involve these guys. They're just bystanders, and the police are like, yeah, keep away rubberneckers, and inspector and the copper is just keeping an eye on this guy so he doesn't try and run off, because he's getting a pair of silver bracelets later. But yeah, the main thing of the day is this. Here we have a Hornby one class 153 DMU. I bought this from eBay, so yes, it's second hand. And 1 second. There we go. That's shut up. We bought this from eBay second hand. It's lovely. It works. I originally saw it at a price that it said. I put it on my watch list and thought I'll have a bit of a think about that. And then they put the price down. And afterwards, they put the price down again after thing there, because they gave me a refund and said, yeah, okay, so yeah, very nice seller. It turned up, and the seller actually kept me updated on everything that was going off. Apparently, they were selling a part of their collection that they didn't want anymore. In the case of this, I think it's probably because they are going to replace this with one of the new Acura scale 153, 155s that were originally being developed by Helljan, but now the Acura scale have bought Helljan and managed to set a load of people off on a bit of a wee for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Trying to mech out that Acura scale were trying to destroy, small businesses and stuff like that. And the irony is that the people who read about it most are not small businesses in any shape or form. But yeah, we had a lot of reeing over that, and as it turns out, quite literally everything that they said, if they bothered to read the statement that Acura Scale had put out when they announced that Acura Scale had acquired Helljan, they'd have seen that quite literally none of the accusations and conspiracies that they were going on about were in fact true, and they were just talking out of their arse, basically. And quite a lot of them also, especially the YouTubers that were whinging about it, have quite literally demonstrated they have zero understanding of how business works. So yeah, it's a good thing. I'm gonna, I've seen both shops and individuals say, I am not going to buy any Acura Scale products again because they are evil. They're evil and want to shut down every shop except themselves. And now they'll be backtracking, and they'll be placing orders with Acura Scale. Just won't be telling anybody about it. And because Acura Scale know who these people are and they know who's ordering, they'll also know who the hypocrites are as well. So yeah, well done there. But anyway, so the person who's selling this is quite obviously going to be getting the Acura Scale one. I'm quite happy to have this Hornby one for the time being. As we can see here, it's it's a, like I said, 153 class 153 DMU, which diesel multiple unit, except this is only a one car. So it's not really a multiple unit, but never mind. These do go around in groups of one or two, both with engines on them so that they can drive themselves if they want. But Yeah, this one is in the Arriva Northern livery. Now, this is a weird thing. I have been on these trains. These are the very, very slow, smelly, glorified buses, basically. They have no toilets or any facilities. Basically, they have seats and a driver, and they go forwards. That's it. They smell because cleaning isn't a big priority on them. And usually, when you get off, you feel tired and your back and your arse aches from the uncomfortable seats, and you feel slightly nauseous from the smell of sweat and sweaty feet and dirt and garbage. Yeah, I've spent a fair bit of my life on these as well, and so being as a lot of the stuff I'm getting is kind of East Coast Main Line and local area service things. This one fits in perfectly with all the other stuff I've got. As you can see, I don't know when this one came out originally. I know it's not like 20 years old, but it's not 10 minutes old either. But yeah, oh, my hands are shaking. Oh dear. Yeah, so as you can see on the side there, we have and it was perfectly focused a second ago, and now it's decided not to be. Yeah, we have the Arriva Northern logo tampoed on the side there. Now, like I say, I've been on these, but when I was last time I recall going on one of these, it was still in the green and white Arriva trains livery. The only time I remember going on a train that was like this, in the with the star gold star on it, was the Northern Trains service, which is purple with gold or whatever on. I don't actually recall going on one that looked like this, but I do know that they did exist. When that changed from green to white, from green and white to this occurred, I don't know. I haven't bothered to look it up because I'm lazy like that. But yeah, so it's got a lot of detail on there. We've got next to the doors here, we've got the little buttons that you push to open the doors and what the conductor presses to close the doors. We've got little signs on the windows, no smoking, no sticking your head out the window and all that sort of stuff. We've got snow plows fitted to it as well, even though not much by way of snow, but it's one of those things where when you need it, you haven't got it, sort of thing. And then at the other end, it's the same cab at both ends because obviously it's a DMU; it goes both ways. And we have directional lighting as well. When it's going forwards, basically when the train is going this way, these are white, those are red. When it's going that way, these are red, those are white. We do also have I think this one's got it does. This one also has a destination board on there, which it won't focus on, but it actually says Sheffield. So yes, I do remember getting these trains and going to Sheffield on them. Back when I used to spend a lot of time in Sheffield, both for leisure and for work. So yeah, so anyways, we'll pull back out and then hopefully it'll focus a bit better. So yeah, when I got this, the seller let me know, sent me a message every time they did something. They sent me a message to say that, thank you for buying it, and they were going to pack it up for me and then sent me a bit of a refund as well. I can't remember what the refund was. Yeah, the refund was basically a full postage refund because they said that they'd got what they wanted for it, and I could have this back because it was they didn't need that much for packaging. I think they'd done that with the idea that people would be buying like 3 or 4 things all together, and the box would be huge. But I don't know. But they sent me some money back, and I'm not going to argue with that. But yeah, they did that, and then they sent me a message to let me know that they'd taken it to the post office and it was on its way. And I said, "Oh, thank you for letting me know. I'll let you know when it comes, and if there's any problems or anything." And they said, "Oh yeah, if there's any problems, let me know, and I will refund you or get something sorted for you, or whatever." But yeah, when it came, the box was in good condition. The train itself is in good condition. The only problem I did have, and it worked straight out of the box. I put it on the track, put some power through it, and it had a good trundle around. It's not a very fast one because it's one of the slow trains, so it doesn't need to be, doing a scale speed of 100 and something miles an hour, But it had a good trundle around in both directions for about an hour and a half or so and run it in. But then I fired it up yesterday and again earlier on today, and it seemed to get a bit stuttery. and then it cut out altogether, and I thought, oh fuck's sakes. But no, it needs a clean. Basically, it needs a clean. The pickups, it has pickups on all wheels, but only one set of wheels is driven, which is fine. Like I say, it doesn't need to be reaching massively high speeds. Um, but it still needs a bit more of a clean. I have cleaned it. There was a load of fluff in there, and I cleaned all the fluff out. But it seems that it needs a bit more of a deep clean. The contacts need a bit of a polish and stuff like that. So that's a 10-minute job, and I'll do that later. And hopefully this time when I try and show you, because I did start doing this video before, but when I tried to show you, it ground to a halt, and then I said some words which some of you may never have heard before, and probably best if you don't learn these words. But yeah, so anyways, let's put some power through it and let's see if it does what it wants this time. So go there, look, on off it goes, going forward. And this is only at 50%, but as you can see, it's a slow job here. And there you can see the red lights as it moves away from you. You can see the white lights as it went on. Oops. There we go. Yep, sorry, I've flicked the switch there and I shouldn't have. So yep, comes onto the slow lane. I'll flick that across so that it's got continuity of power. But yeah, it's a delightful little thing. It trundles around and, takes people slowly to wherever it is they're going. And like I said, this is only at 50% power. If you start pushing it more, it does go faster, but this is about as fast as it goes. But I don't really like it going that fast. This is about the best it needs to be. It's not meant to be a fast train. But yeah, off it goes. It makes the all the usual noises, the humming, the as it goes over track bits. It is a bit squeaky, so it might need a little bit of oil on some bits of it somewhere. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. That's all basic maintenance. But yep, so we've had it round there a couple of times, and we'll just send it back in the other direction for a lap or two. So yep, there goes. Red lights at the other end again, and yep, so it's going in the opposite direction now. Okay, and then flick the switch across so that it goes back onto its normal track. So I'll just slow it down a little bit as it comes up to these points. It doesn't have any trouble going over the points, but it's sod's law that when I send it over the points, it'll fucking derail or something. I spend ages saying how nice it is and everything like that, and then it goes and fucking derails or something. So yeah, there we go. So it's pulling into the station now, and up to the buffers. Boop, there we go. So yeah, nice little train. Do I recommend that you get it? Yes. You'll only be picking these up second hand, but for a second hand buy, if it's in as good a condition as this, you'll have no trouble. But yeah, it's like I say, a lot of people will be waiting for the Acura Scale Super Sprinter. I may get a Super Sprinter depending what liveries it's in, whether I like it. Acura Scale stuff is generally more expensive than Hornby or Bachmann, but they are what you get what you pay for in this business, except if you buy Helljan. You don't get what you pay for with Helljan, no matter what people say. It's like, yes, the Helljan stuff, most of the time it does run. It doesn't run very well, though. The Helljan stuff was badly built, badly engineered. Now Acura Scale have taken over. That's going to stop. They've already taken some of the stuff from Helljan's range and said we're gonna tinker with this a little bit and make it better. Some of the stuff they've said now we're not bothering with, we're just chucking out, and that's why you can go to helljan.com and buy a load of their Class 47s, which are garbage. You can buy them dirt cheap now, if you want one, if you want to do that to yourself. But anyway, so yeah, so Class 153, lovely. All these little guys and little cars and stuff, lovely. I'm happy. Hopefully you're happy. Hopefully the world is happy. And next time I've got anything to talk about train-wise, I'll make another video.